Hey moviegoers! Welcome back to our channel, your ultimate destination for all things cinema. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Alex.
Action! Today we're talking about movies that almost never saw the light of day. That's right. Some of your favorite films came incredibly close to being scrapped. Let's jump right into it.
Let's start with a big one, Star Wars. Can you imagine a world without Star Wars? Neither can we. But back in the 70s, George Lucas struggled to get this space opera off the ground.
That's right. Studios thought the concept was too risky. It was only after numerous rejections that 20th Century Fox finally took a chance. And even then, they were skeptical. The production faced numerous challenges, from budget constraints to technical issues. They almost didn't get the special effects right.
And speaking of special effects, the technology to create the vision Lucas had in mind was almost non-existent at the time. He had to invent new ways to film the space scenes, which took a lot of time and money. The initial budget of $10 million was a stretch, and the studio was very cautious about overspending.
Not to mention the casting struggles. Harrison Ford, who played Han Solo, was originally just a carpenter working on the set. Lucas had to fight to get him in front of the camera. Imagine Star Wars without Ford's iconic portrayal.
And let's not forget the pressure Lucas was under. The movie was shot in Tunisia for the desert scenes, and it was a nightmare. The equipment malfunctioned, the weather was harsh, and morale was low. Lucas even had to make changes on the fly because the initial designs for the characters didn't work well on screen.
Exactly. Even with all these hurdles, Star Wars premiered in 1977 and became a cultural phenomenon. It's now one of the highest-grossing franchises of all time, with merchandise, sequels, prequels, and spin-offs that continue to expand its universe. Next up, Titanic. James Cameron's epic romance disaster film almost sank before it even set sail.
The budget was a major concern. Originally set at $100 million, it eventually ballooned to over $200 million. There were delays, technical issues, and the studio was on the verge of pulling the plug.
But Cameron was determined. He even forfeited his salary to keep the project alive. And it paid off. Titanic won 11 Oscars and remains one of the highest-grossing films of all time.
Let's talk about the scale of this production. Cameron insisted on a level of realism that was unprecedented. He had a full-scale replica of the Titanic built and used groundbreaking CGI for the ship's sinking, but this came at a high cost, both financially and physically. The cast and crew endured long hours in cold water, and some even got sick.
And then there was the casting. Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio were not the studio's first choices. Winslet had to campaign for the role of Rose, and DiCaprio initially wasn't interested in playing Jack. Can you imagine Titanic without their chemistry?
Absolutely not. And there were so many small details that almost didn't make it. For instance, the iconic "I'm the king of the world" line was ad-libbed by DiCaprio. Cameron was meticulous, shooting multiple takes to capture the perfect moment.
And then, after all the effort, there were rumors of the film being a disaster before its release. Critics were skeptical, and the media had a field day predicting it would be a box office flop. Instead, it became a cinematic masterpiece, grossing over $2 billion and winning the hearts of audiences worldwide.
Hey Jamie, hit pause for a sec.
You got it!
Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a thing. Now back to the show. The Godfather is another classic that faced a tumultuous journey to the big screen. Francis Ford Coppola was not the first choice for director, and there were constant battles with the studio over casting and budget.
Marlon Brando and Al Pacino were both controversial choices. The studio wanted stars like Robert Redford and Ryan O'Neal, but Coppola stuck to his vision, even when he was nearly fired multiple times.
Brando's performance as Vito Corleone is iconic, but he was almost uninsurable due to his reputation for being difficult on set. Coppola had to fight tooth and nail to keep him on board, and Pacino, who was relatively unknown at the time, was constantly on the verge of being replaced.
Then there was the budget issue. The studio wanted to cut costs by setting the film in contemporary times instead of the 1940s. Coppola insisted on period accuracy, which meant higher expenses for costumes and set designs. This caused friction and constant threats of shutting down the production.
Despite all these hurdles, The Godfather was a massive success. It won multiple Oscars, including Best Picture, and set the standard for gangster films. It's a timeless piece of cinema that continues to influence filmmakers today.
Back to the Future is another beloved film that almost didn't happen. The script was rejected over 40 times because studios thought it wasn't raunchy enough for the teen comedy market of the 80s.
Plus, they initially wanted to use a refrigerator as the time machine. Luckily, that idea was scrapped, and we got the iconic DeLorean instead.
Michael J. Fox wasn't even the first choice for Marty McFly. They started filming with Eric Stoltz, but it just didn't work out. Fox eventually came on board, and the rest is history.
The filming process was chaotic. Fox was working on his TV show Family Ties during the day and filming Back to the Future at night. He barely got any sleep, but his energy and charisma on screen are undeniable.
And who can forget the music? Huey Lewis and the News' The Power of Love became an instant hit and is now synonymous with the film. It's hard to imagine Back to the Future without that iconic soundtrack.
The movie's success was unexpected. It became the highest-grossing film of 1985 and spawned 2 sequels, solidifying its place in pop culture history. Apocalypse Now was a movie plagued with so many issues, it's a miracle it was ever completed. Francis Ford Coppola faced delays, budget overruns, and even a typhoon that destroyed sets.
Not to mention, Martin Sheen suffered a heart attack during filming. There were also issues with Marlon Brando's weight and availability. The production was so chaotic that there's even a documentary about it called Hearts of Darkness.
The film was shot in the Philippines and the conditions were harsh. The crew dealt with extreme heat, humidity, and logistical nightmares. Coppola invested his own money into the film, putting himself in severe financial risk.
And then there was the script. It went through numerous rewrites, with Coppola and his team constantly tweaking it. The famous opening scene with Martin Sheen was improvised during one of Sheen's real-life breakdowns, captured on camera.
Despite all these challenges, Apocalypse Now became a critical and commercial success, earning multiple awards and a place in cinematic history.
It's incredible to think how close we came to never seeing these iconic films. It just goes to show that sometimes perseverance and passion can overcome even the toughest obstacles in filmmaking.
Absolutely. So next time you watch one of these movies, remember the incredible journey it took to get them to the screen.
Now head to the comments and let us know what you think. Which of these movies was a real win for viewers? Are there any that could have quietly disappeared and not be missed? Let us know. Thanks for watching, moviegoers. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications.
If you like this video, check out some of our others all about the big screen.